The next morning, Lagos woke up in its usual chaos. Horns blaring, Danvers screaming, okadas slicing through traffic like knives through ripe plantain. But inside the little one-room apartment shared by Ifema and Adaze, the silence was louder than the city noise. Ifema sat on the edge of her mattress, her feet brushing the concrete floor, her heart heavy. The events of the past few days weighed on her like a lead apron. Adaze was in the bathroom, singing as she bathed, her voice off-key but cheerful. It made Ifema's stomach turn. She stared at the cracked mirror nailed to the wall, the same one they had both chipped into by months ago. The left edge was shattered, like her trust, but still standing. Her reflection looked tired, older, hardened. Something in her eyes had changed. This was not the same Ifema who had once shared chinchin and dreams under the Lagos stars with Adaze. This was a woman who had seen the face of betrayal and now had to decide what to do with it. When Adaze stepped out of the bathroom with her towel tied tightly around her chest, Ifema turned and looked at her, really looked at her. She saw the smugness in her smile, the calculated calmness in the way she acted. It was time. Adaze, Ifema called, her voice steady. Adaze responded, patting her face with her towel. I want to ask you something, and I want you to tell me the truth, please. Just be honest. Adaze raised an eyebrow. What is it? Are you talking to Chibuzo behind my back? There was a brief flicker in Adaze's eyes, a moment's hesitation, but it was enough. Why would you ask that? Adaze laughed awkwardly. You day craze. Nah, your boyfriend Abi? Answer me. Adaze blinked, her lips curling into a nervous smile. Ifema, you're overthinking. I only talk to him once in a while. You told him I was sleeping with a married man. Adaze's face froze. The silence between them expanded like a balloon, filled with all the unsaid things that had been choking Ifema for weeks. You went behind me. Adaze, Ifema continued, rising slowly. You poisoned him against me. You scattered what we were building, me and Chibuzo. You betrayed me. Adaze scoffed. Me? Betray you? You ain't no even Sabi carry man. You think because he bought you small shawarma, he loves you? Avik, I was only trying to protect you. Protect me. Ifema spat. From what? From happiness? From a man who actually liked me. You're not as clean as you pretend to be. Ifema, Adaze snapped, her voice rising. You think you're better than everyone, just because you speak English and don't paint your nails. But I know you. No. Adaze, Ifema said quietly. You don't know me, and that's why you had to lie to him. Adaze looked like she was about to speak, but Ifema raised her hand. I saw the messages. Everything. I know how you manipulated him, how you pretended to care. There was silence. Then Adaze's expression changed. The pretense melted away. Her voice dropped to a bitter whisper. He was supposed to be mine. Ifema, I saw him first at the roadside stall that Sunday. You just came and smiled your village smile. And he chose you. So this was about jealousy? Call it whatever you want. I gave up so many things for you. I shared my clothes. I defended you when people called you Bush. And you just took everything like you were entitled to it. Even the man. Ifema swallowed, her chest aching. I never took anything from you. You gave me your friendship, and I gave you mine. But this wasn't friendship. Adaze, this was war. And I didn't even know I was fighting. A coldness settled between them. Adaze turned away, picked up her clothes, and started dressing. The room was heavy with tension. I'll move out this weekend, she said. You don't have to. I will, Ifema replied. But know this, Adaze, Lagos will remember. This city doesn't forget betrayal. What you've done, it'll come back to you. Adaze snorted. Save your village curses for someone else. Lagos is for survivors, not saints. As she slammed the door and walked out, Ifema sat back down, heart pounding. She had lost a friend. She had lost a lover, but she had found herself. That evening, Chibuzo came to the salon. His eyes were tired, ashamed. He pulled her aside behind the building, where the noise of dryers and gossip couldn't reach. Ifema, he said. I'm sorry. I believed a lie. I was weak. She nodded. Yes, you were. I want to make things right. But I don't know if we can go back. I'm not asking to go back, he said gently. I'm asking to start again. This time with truth. Ifema looked at him for a long time, the hurt still fresh in her chest. She didn't know if she was ready to trust him again. But she knew one thing. She would no longer let other people define her worth. Not a daze, not Chibuzo, not even her own broken heart. The mirror might have cracked, but she was still standing. And the woman in that mirror? She was stronger now. Days turned into weeks, and Lagos, chaotic, vibrant, and relentless, moved on as though nothing had happened. Danvers still screamed along the third mainland bridge. Women still bargained fiercely at Balagan Market. And the air still smelled of pepper soup, fuel, and resilience. But inside Ifeema's heart, the storm had only begun to settle. She had moved into a new Face Me I Face You compound in Shamalu. The room was smaller, with barely enough space to stretch her legs. But it was hers. No eyes watching, no betrayals lurking behind fake smiles, no whispers in the dark. It was a fresh start, even if the room came with a leaky ceiling and neighbors who played loud Fuji music until 2 a.m. She was determined to build from the ashes. Each morning, she tied her scarf tight, packed her bag, and took a kick to the salon where she now worked full-time. Madame Ketchy had seen something in her, a steadiness, a spirit not easily broken. After Adi's exit from the salon, which happened not long after the confrontation, Madame Ketchy had promoted Ifeema to assistant supervisor. It was a small raise, but to Ifeema, it was more than money. It was dignity. One evening, as she swept the last of the hair trimmings into the pan, Chibuzo entered the salon again. This time, he didn't ask to talk outside. He simply stood in front of her, a bouquet of fresh roses in his hand, out in the middle of Mushin, where the smell of burning rubber often overpowered any scent of romance. Ifeema, he said quietly, I know you haven't forgiven me yet, and maybe you never will, but I've been thinking about you, about us, about what I lost when I chose to believe someone else over the woman I said I loved. She looked up from the broom, brushing a lock of hair from her face. The other girls in the salon were watching with hungry eyes, pretending to be busy with their clients. The hairdryer hummed in the background like a warning drum. I'm not sure what you want me to say, she replied. You don't have to say anything. Just listen. He stepped closer. I let insecurity win. I let someone else's words cloud what I felt. I should have trusted you. You didn't. I know. He handed her the roses, but she didn't take them. Her hands remained at her sides, broom still in hand. Ifeema, a daze came to me again after you left her. She tried to lie again, said you were planning to take revenge on me. But this time, I didn't believe her. I told her to leave me alone. She blinked. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know I've changed. Or at least, I'm trying to. I want to start again, if you'll let me. A heavy silence settled between them. Then, slowly, Ifeema reached out, not for the roses, but for her bag. I'm not the same girl you hurt, Chibuzo. That Ifeema died the day you doubted me. What's left of her now is fire. I know, he said, his voice thick, and I love her even more for it. She gave a tired smile, not bitter, just seasoned by life. Let me think about it. And with that, she walked out of the salon into the warm Lagos night, the breeze catching her wrapper, her heart steadier than it had been in months. But fate, it seemed, was not done yet. The next morning, Ifeema arrived at the salon to find the gates locked with a thick new padlock. A paper was pinned to the metal with masking tape. Notice of seizure by Lagos State Tax Authority. She stared at it, confused. Soon, other girls arrived, and then Madame Ketchy herself, panting and shaking her head. I don't understand, she muttered. I paid my tax. But the truth came out before noon. A daze. In one final act of spite, she had reported the salon's incorrect tax records to the authorities, leaving out the part where she, herself, used to help underdeclare earnings in the receipt books. With government eyes now on the salon, Madame Ketchy was forced to shut down operations temporarily. Ifeema sat under a mango tree nearby, watching women pass with baskets of fish on their heads. Her chest burned, not with shock, but with a new kind of fire. I won't let her win, she whispered. Later that evening, she gathered the girls from the salon. They met in her small room, packed like sardines on the thin mattress and stools. There, over a bottle of malt and chin-chin, she shared her plan. We can't sit and fold our hands. We have skills. We have clients. What if we start our own mobile salon? The idea lit up the room like a candle in a dark shrine. They would braid from house to house, offer home services, use WhatsApp to advertise. Each girl would contribute 500 weekly into a common savings. They would start small, but they would grow, and thus, Golden Fingers Mobile Salon was born. The fire that tried to consume her only purified her. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was rising. Lagos, like life, has a way of bringing things full circle. Weeks passed, and Golden Fingers Mobile Salon began to thrive beyond Ifeoma's imagination. At first, they had only 3 steady clients, working-class women who didn't have time to visit a salon. But as word spread through WhatsApp statuses and referrals, more women began to call. The girls split into teams, going house to house across Sorler, Yaba, and Acaia. Madame Ketchy, humbled by the salon's seizure and inspired by Ifeoma's courage, became their unofficial patron, offering supplies and helping them register the name officially. Ifeoma now wore a confidence that made her look taller. Her steps had grown firmer. She was no longer just the quiet village girl chasing survival. She was now a leader. One Thursday evening, while braiding a high-net-worth client's hair in a mansionette, Lucky Phase 1, her phone rang. It was Nkiru, one of the girls from their team. Her voice trembled. Ifeoma, a daze is back. The comb paused midair. She came to the house we were working on at Oyulegba. Just walked in, like nothing happened, wearing makeup like she just stepped off a TV screen. She said she's working with a big brand now, some cosmetic company from South Africa. She said she's launching a new luxury salon right here in Lagos. She came to offer me a job. Ifeoma said nothing. I told her no, Nkiru added quickly. But she's not the same. She looked different. That night, Ifeoma sat on her small bed and stared at the ceiling. Outside, someone was frying a kara and the smell drifted in. But her appetite was gone. What did Adaze want now? Wasn't the betrayal enough? A few days later, the answer arrived. Adaze sent an invitation card, physically delivered by a dispatch rider. It was glossy and gold-trimmed, with elegant cursive writing. Grand opening of House of Glam Luxury Beauty Parlor. CEO, Adaze Vivian Naji. Date, Saturday. Venue, Admiralty Road, Lekki Phase 1. Special invitee, Miss Ifeoma Ibe. Ifeoma held the card for a long time. Part of her wanted to tear it into pieces. Another part wanted to go, just to see what Adaze was planning. Something about this sudden reappearance felt off. She went, dressed in a modest green wrapper and a fitted blouse, hair packed in a simple bun. She walked into the event with Nkiru by her side. The crowd glittered with influencers, socialites, and press cameras. There was a red carpet, ushers in black gowns, exotic perfumes in the air. It was the kind of place that swallowed you if you didn't belong. Then she saw her, Adaze, standing like a queen in a sequin silver dress, her face glowing under makeup. Her body had changed, curvier, firmer, almost unnatural. Her smile was sharp. When their eyes met, Adaze walked over slowly, heels clacking like thunder against tiles. She said with a smirk. I knew you'd come. You wanted me to. Ifeoma replied coolly. Of course, I owe you something. What? Another betrayal. Adaze laughed softly. No. An apology. The word hung between them like smoke. I was wrong, she continued. I let envy eat me. I thought stepping on you would make me feel taller. But look at you now. You rose anyway. Ifeoma narrowed her eyes. Why are you really here? Adaze. What do you want from me? Adaze leaned closer. Two-partner. Imagine it. House of Glam plus Golden Fingers will dominate Lagos. Ifeoma stepped back, shaking her head slowly. You want to share a table you once tried to break? I won't fall for it again. Adaze's smile faded. You'll regret saying no. No. Adaze, she said calmly. I regretted saying yes the first time. She turned to leave, but before she could take 2 steps, she paused. A strange chill ran through her spine. Turning back, she looked into Adaze's eyes, and what she saw there wasn't just hurt or pride. It was something deeper, darker, like a shadow behind her pupils. A coldness not born of Lagos or betrayal, but something spiritual. That night, Ifeoma dreamed of fire and snakes, of mirrors cracking, of voices whispering her name from beneath the ocean. She woke up sweating, and for the first time since this journey began, she realized this was bigger than heartbreak. This was war, not just of flesh, but of spirits. The night after the encounter at Addie's House of Glam Lounge, Ifeoma couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that had settled in her chest. It wasn't just the memory of Addie's arrogance or the strange coldness in her eyes. It was the nagging sense that something darker had taken root in her former best friend. She could still hear Addie's words echoing in her mind. "You'll regret saying no." They felt like a threat, but not one made from mere malice or competition. It was as if those words carried a weight, something that clung to the air like an omen. Adaze wasn't just seeking a business deal. She was offering a partnership, one that felt far more sinister than any corporate alliance. But the final moment that stuck with Ifeoma was the strange look in Adee's eyes. It was as if her friend wasn't entirely present in her own body, as if something or someone else was controlling her every move. The dream, too, was another unsettling sign. The fire, the snakes, the whispers. That same night, she reached out to her aunt, a woman whom she had always known to possess an uncanny sense of intuition. Aunt Ngozi, an elderly woman with graying hair, deep brown eyes, and a soft-spoken demeanor, had always been a source of wisdom for Ifeoma, especially when it came to matters of the spirit. Ifeoma had grown up hearing her aunt speak of spiritual warfare, the unseen forces that influenced the world. Aunt Ngozi had never been one to dwell too much in Lagos' fast-paced world of success and materialism. She had often warned Ifeoma about the dangers of envy and pride, the two vices that could destroy a person from the inside out. But lately, Ifeoma had started to suspect that her aunt knew far more than she let on. There was a wisdom in her words that often seemed to straddle the line between the earthly and the supernatural. When Ifeoma finally got through to her, her aunt's voice crackled with concern the moment she mentioned Adee's name. "Ifeoma, listen to me carefully," Aunt Ngozi began, her tone grave. "Your friend is not the same person you once knew. I can feel it. What you saw in her eyes, what you felt in your spirit. That was not her. That was something else. Something darker." Ifeoma felt the chill run through her once more. "What do you mean, Aunt?" "Adee's is my friend. She was like a sister to me. What could have happened to her?" Aunt Ngozi sighed deeply, her voice dropping lower, as though afraid of being overheard. "There are powers in this world, Ifeoma, forces that can manipulate people, especially when they are weak, vulnerable, or consumed by envy. What you witnessed with Adee's, this change in her, this coldness, is not natural. Someone has taken hold of her, someone who doesn't belong to this world." Ifeoma's heart pounded in her chest. "Who? What do you mean? Is she?" "Your friend has made a dangerous deal," Aunt Ngozi interrupted, "one that comes with a heavy price. A deal that would give her everything she wanted in this world. Beauty, power, wealth, but at the cost of her soul." Ifeoma was silent, trying to process her aunt's words. "A deal? Who would do such a thing?" Aunt Ngozi's voice grew softer. "In some parts of our world, people go to extreme lengths for success. Some of them seek the help of spiritual beings, spirits, demons, even the Marine Queen. They offer their lives, their souls, and in return, they are granted power beyond their wildest dreams. But this power comes with a cost, one that eventually consumes them." If the weight of her aunt's words wasn't enough, the hairs on the back of Ifeoma's neck stood up. She could feel it, the truth of her aunt's warning. She had always known there were forces at play in a world that went beyond human understanding, but never in her wildest dreams had she thought that someone like Adee's, someone she had trusted, would fall victim to such dark forces. "Ifeoma, you have to be careful," Aunt Ngozi continued. "Adee's may appear to have everything now: beauty, success, wealth, but underneath it all, she is hollow. And if you are not careful, she may try to pull you into her web. She may try to make you part of the same deal she's made. She's already tasted the power, but it's not enough for her. It never will be." Ifeoma felt a tightness in her chest. "What should I do?" "Stay away from her, child. Do not accept anything she offers you. And above all, do not let her back into your life. What she's become is beyond saving. The only way to protect yourself is to walk away and to pray." "Pray," Ifeoma whispered. "Yes. Pray for strength, pray for wisdom, pray for protection." The conversation ended shortly after, but Ifeoma's mind raced. Her aunt's words lingered in her ears, echoing with the gravity of something that could not be undone. Over the following days, Ifeoma found herself more vigilant. She began to pray with an intensity she had never known before. Each prayer felt like a shield around her heart, protecting her from the darkness she could feel creeping closer. But Adaze wasn't done yet. The next time she saw her, it was at a fashion event in Victoria Island. She had invited Ifema again. And this time, there was no denying the sinister undertone in her invitation. "Come see the world I built." Adaze had written in her message, "It's everything you could have had, Ifema, if only you had been loyal." There was something in her words that felt like a curse, a challenge, a reminder that Adaze had crossed a line, and now, Ifema was the one who had to fight back. But as Ifema stood there in her modest attire, surrounded by glittering people and luxury, she knew one thing for sure: she had to protect her soul. Adaze's smile, that perfect, practiced smile, was no longer the welcoming expression of the friend she had once known. It was something darker, something that sent a chill down her spine. And for the first time, Ifema realized the depth of the battle she had to face. It was not just about business. It was not just about betrayal. It was a spiritual war. The evening air was heavy with anticipation, thick like the fog that rolled in from the ocean as Ifema stepped into the exclusive event hall. She had not wanted to attend, but Adi's constant invitations had become a form of pressure, each one more demanding than the last. Her friends, Kiru and the others, had advised her to stay away, but there was something inside her, a need for closure, that urged her forward. As she walked into the brightly lit hall, the smell of expensive perfume, leather, and champagne filled her nose. A sea of people in designer outfits mingled with celebrities, influencers, and media personalities. The flashing cameras, the glittering gowns, and the high-pitched laughter all felt surreal, as though she had stepped into another world, a world where Adaze now ruled, completely transformed into someone unrecognizable. Ifema's heart raced in her chest, but she stilled herself. She was no longer that vulnerable girl from the village, crushed by the weight of betrayal. She had built something from the ground up. Golden Fingers was her pride, her triumph. This was her test, and she would face it head-on. Then, across the room, she saw her. Adaze stood by a gold-encrusted bar, laughing with a group of well-dressed women. Her once familiar face was now contoured with perfect makeup and an air of superiority. The girl who had been her best friend, who had shared everything with her, was now the queen of this glamorous world. Ifema walked towards her, and the moment Adi's eyes met hers, the smile faded. "Did you really have to come?" Adi's voice was cool, almost amused, but the undertone of hostility was unmistakable. "I had to see for myself," Ifema said, her tone steady. "The woman you've become." Adaze raised an eyebrow, her lips curling into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I see you're still holding on to those village values of yours. It's too late for that now, Ifema. I've made my choice. And look where it's gotten me." She gestured to the opulence surrounding them, the luxurious venue, the people fawning over her. "I have everything I've ever wanted." Ifema's gaze remained unwavering. "But at what cost?" "Adaze, I can see it in your eyes. You've sold your soul for this, and no matter how much wealth or beauty you have, it can't fill the emptiness inside you." For a moment, Adaze looked taken aback, as though she hadn't expected this level of confrontation. The smugness faltered, replaced with something darker, something more dangerous. "You're wrong," Adaze snapped, her voice tightening. "You don't understand. I had no choice. You wouldn't understand what it's like to be nothing, to have to fight for everything while people like you just have it all handed to them. You think I chose this for fun?" Ifema shook her head slowly, her heart heavy. "You chose it for power, for pride, but now you're trapped. The same way the spirits who helped you are trapping you." Adi's smile twisted. "You think it's the spirits? You think I'm under some spell? I did this on my own. No one else. I took what was mine." "You didn't take anything," Ifema said firmly. "You sold everything. And now, it's not just you who's at risk. There are others out there like you, people who'll do anything for wealth and success. But I won't let you pull me into your darkness." Adaze. The room seemed to grow colder, and for a split second, Ifema felt something shift. Adi's eyes darkened, and her body stiffened. "You're making a mistake, Ifema," she said quietly. "I gave you a chance to join me. Now, I'll make sure you regret refusing." Before Ifema could respond, she felt a sharp pressure on her chest, a spiritual weight, as though something invisible was trying to crush her. It was the same force that had taken over Adaze, the same dark energy that had seeped into her being. Ifema's breath caught in her throat, and she stumbled back, her head spinning. She realized then that Addie's power wasn't just about money or influence. It was something much more insidious. The Marine Queen, the one who had lured Adaze into this dark contract, was still pulling the strings. And now, Ifema was caught in the web too. But Ifema was no longer the scared, naive girl she had once been. She had learned to stand on her own, to believe in her strength. And in that moment, she remembered the prayers her aunt had told her about, prayers for protection, prayers for courage. With trembling hands, Ifema closed her eyes and whispered the words her aunt had taught her. The words felt like fire in her chest, a force of light pushing against the suffocating darkness that surrounded her. Addie's expression faltered, and for the briefest moment, the darkness in her eyes seemed to dissipate. She staggered back, her breath ragged, as though she were fighting to regain control of herself. The pressure on Ifema's chest lessened, and she took a deep breath. "You're stronger than you realize," Adaze spat, her voice low. "But it's too late for me. It's too late for both of us." Ifema stood tall, her voice steady. "It's never too late, Adaze. You can still walk away from this. You can still choose to be free." Addie's eyes flickered with a moment of vulnerability, but it was quickly replaced by an overwhelming rage. "You don't get to tell me what to do anymore, Ifema." Ifema took a step forward. "I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm here to offer you one last chance. Walk away from the deal you made. The power, the fame. It's not worth losing your soul." For a moment, the room fell silent. The music, the laughter, the chatter, it all faded into the background as Adaze and Ifema stood facing each other, the weight of their past hanging in the air between them. Finally, Adaze spoke, her voice breaking. I can't undo it now." Ifema sighed deeply, her heart aching for the friend she had lost. "Then there's nothing more I can do." Without another word, Ifema turned and walked away, leaving Adaze behind, her figure shrinking in the distance. As Ifema exited the hall, she felt lighter, as though a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders. But she knew this was only the beginning. The battle wasn't over, and Addie's fall from grace would echo far beyond the walls of that luxurious event.